Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we will take you on a journey to learn about what effects does social anxiety have on the brain. Are you ready? In that case, let's get started. Social phobia, also known as social anxiety disorder, is the kind of anxiety that causes severe fear and shame in social settings. Important brain regions, including the hippocampus and amygdala, can be impacted by social anxiety. Meeting new people or being asked to speak in front of an audience usually causes one to feel a little anxious. But in these kinds of circumstances, persons with social anxiety disorder feel a great deal of worry, which makes life difficult for them. We are all aware of the negative effects social anxiety disorder has on relationships, employment, and other day-to-day activities. The fact that it affects how the brain functions is a lesser-known truth. People who are socially anxious interpret emotions, threats, and social cues differently, which affects how important brain regions function. How does social anxiety arise and what does it mean? Excessive perspiration, dyspnea, nausea, stiff posture, and elevated heart rate during social interactions are symptoms of social anxiety disorder. These physical traits can be used to identify socially anxious individuals. In addition to these anatomical characteristics, social anxiety impairs some brain functions. Environmental factors, including upbringing, home environment, and, of course, life events, might contribute to social anxiety. Social anxiety disorder is more common in kids whose parents are controlling, overly protective, or invasive. Genetics may potentially be the cause. Brain development and function are influenced by genetics. Fear and anxiety are linked to certain areas of the brain. Anxiety disorders related to emotional or sexual abuse are examples of traumatic life events that might lead to social anxiety disorder. What effects does social anxiety have on various brain regions? Important brain regions are impacted by social anxiety, which in turn changes an individual's behavior and thought processes. Below, we'll go over 5 of these crucial topics. 1. Amygdala. This area of the brain deals with fear, anxiety, and aggressiveness. It is in control of our fight, fawn, freeze, or flight response when faced with a threat. These arguments suffice to demonstrate that the amygdala is the primary brain region involved in social anxiety. The amygdala has been shown to become overactive during social interactions. When it senses extreme terror, it illuminates. Additionally, compared to normal individuals, those who suffer from social anxiety are seen to have a somewhat larger amygdala. The amygdala expands in tandem with an individual's escalating anxiety sensations. An individual with social anxiety expends more time and energy than a normal person does processing emotions and threats via the brain. 2. Prefrontal cortex. This area of the brain is responsible for controlling an individual's behavior, including planning, decision-making, and self-control. It contrasts sharply with the amygdala. In socially anxious individuals, the prefrontal cortex is often smaller and less active, but the amygdala is larger and more hyperactive. Its communication patterns with other brain regions are likewise different. During routine social interactions, the prefrontal cortex sends messages to the amygdala to reduce its activity. But in the case of social anxiety disorder, this does not occur. The prefrontal cortex hyperactivates the amygdala, causing it to calm down instead of relax down and causing anxiety and terror. The decision of what to focus on is another function of the prefrontal cortex. In socially anxious people, the prefrontal cortex has been shown to be more active in response to a social threat. 3. The cingulate cortex anterior. Emotion regulation is the function of this region of the brain. It is especially important for managing social rejection and the stress that comes with social interactions. Persons with unpleasant facial expressions can trigger the anterior cingulate cortex in socially anxious persons, making it hyperactive. This kind of person is sensitive to the perceptions that other people have of them. The anterior cingulate cortex facilitates communication between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala. People who suffer from social anxiety find it difficult to control their emotions and behavior along this trip. 4. Fusiform gyrus. When connecting with others, this area of the brain is crucial. It deals with digesting faces and assessing another person's emotional condition. In individuals with social anxiety disorder, the fusiform gyrus may be hyperactive or underactive depending on the coping method they have evolved. In situations where the person experiencing social anxiety has learned to turn off their facial recognition system, it will be less active. However, the fusiform gyrus will be overactive if a person with social anxiety concentrates on faces more than usual. For this reason, emotionally neutral faces seem to be angry with socially anxious persons. 5. Hippocampus. Because it deals with memory and learning, this area of the brain is also significant in social anxiety. People often pick up this pattern of conduct after experiencing a lot of negative social interactions, which can result in social anxiety. They grow accustomed to acting a certain way over time and come to expect bad behavior from others. People who are socially apprehensive experience hyperactivity in the hippocampus when they see unfamiliar faces. When someone encounters these people frequently, their face becomes accustomed to them, even if they are not anxious. Even yet, a person with social anxiety disorder is unable to recognize these faces. They'll keep perceiving these faces as dangerous. This clarifies why meeting new people might be difficult for those who suffer from social anxiety. Conclusion. The brain regions responsible for processing fear, anxiety, and information about other people are damaged by social anxiety. It harms one's perspective on the world for this reason. It makes relating to and interacting with people challenging. Building a trustworthy connection and a relationship with someone is difficult. People who are socially apprehensive may find it difficult to interact with others and may even isolate themselves. Although managing social anxiety might be challenging, it shouldn't prevent you from leading the best possible life for yourself. This disease can be effectively treated. Cognitive behavioral therapy is one such method. Through this therapy, one can recognize harmful thought patterns and behavioral patterns and replace them with constructive ones. People who are socially anxious can benefit from this therapy since it modifies the brain's reaction to social judgment. Additionally, it disseminates information on social skills that could aid someone suffering from social anxiety in getting over their apprehension and fear of meeting new people. Medication and treatment can be combined for improved outcomes. Taking part in a support group is an additional choice. You will come into contact with new people who experience similar challenges to your own, and you will feel a connection with them. In support groups, they might provide guidance and coping mechanisms for social anxiety. You may regain control over your life and learn to control your fear and anxiety with the help of these resources. We hope you are always well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and comment. See you in the next video. Have a nice day.